All right. Hey, and good morning, everybody. This is Sherman Ray, and this is Godstream News for a Tuesday, July 2nd. I want to welcome you all to the broadcast today, and hope you're having a great day. It's been a wonderful, exciting week so far, and things have not changed. They really have not. You kind of wish they would at times just change a little bit, but they really have not changed. So I want to welcome you all to the broadcast this morning. Before we get started, we want to encourage you folks to subscribe to our YouTube channel while you're here and check it all out. Make sure that you get updated every time that you get to see the show. So we encourage you to check that out. If many of you are watching the show on our Godstream page, on Godstream.org. So we want to welcome you all here. Thank you all for being a part of it. And so we hope that you're able to check out the rest of the page, or excuse me, of the website. And I think that'll be great. Okay. Anyways, let's get into the news. It's been an adventure already. Many of you know that yesterday, President Donald Trump, that he was got a ruling from the Supreme Court of the United States, and that Supreme Court ruling, 6-3, in favor of the conservative High Court, that basically said that President Trump did have basic immunity for presidents, and that's if in the course of his job as a president, if he did some things that ran afoul, that he could not be prosecuted because of that, because it was part of his official capacity as president of the United States. So today, so many Democrats went a little apoplectic about it. They were very upset at the fact that the president was able to do that. But here's the deal, guys, and many people already understand this, so I'm speaking to the choir here, is that this has been the rule of the law, the land, since the founding of our country. That there's a lot of presidents who who in the course of their official capacity as president, do things. And as a result of that, they might not be totally as legal as you want it to be, but they cannot be prosecuted because of that, because of the prosecution of doing their job as president. Well, this was affirmed by the High Court 6-3, and Democrats were like going, "Oh no, you can't do that." Well, wait a minute. It's been that way since the founding of this country, that presidents have always been immune to this. Now, it doesn't mean that a president can walk down the street and just shoot somebody. Okay, that's not his official capacity. We talked about this yesterday. So, but they're a little upset about that. So, in an article here, this is SRN News in New York. It's actually an Associated Press article, and it says former President Donald Trump's lawyers have asked the New York judge. Remember, just a few weeks ago, former President Donald Trump was convicted of 34 felonies and now is waiting for sentencing on those, that he's asked the judge who presided over his criminal trial to set aside his conviction and delay his sentencing scheduled next week. The letter to Judge Juan Merchan cited the U.S. Supreme Court's ruling earlier Monday on presidential immunity, and asked the judge to delay Trump's sentencing while he weighs the High Court's decision and how it could influence the New York case, according to the letter obtained by the Associated Press. The lawyers argue that the Supreme Court's decision confirmed a position that events raised earlier in the case, that prosecutors should have been precluded from introducing some evidence they said constituted official presidential acts, according to the letter. So here's the rundown on this: that the president, during his election, or during his prosecution, brought into evidence that, hey, you cannot be upset at a president because of this. You cannot charge him with certain laws or certain acts because he was the president at the time. And much of the case that was brought against the president during this Manhattan witch trial was based upon those things. And he was convicted of 34 felonies because of that. Now, prognosticators, those folks that have been watching this, the election, or excuse me, I don't know why I keep saying election, who were watching the prosecution, the trial, said the same thing. They said this is going to be overturned. This is going to be overturned on appeal because the president has immunity. And now they're saying that to hold off on the sentencing because he's going to appeal this, and the appellate process of this won't happen until after the election is over with. So, and in another article, it actually said that the prosecutor in that case has said that he has no objections to that, to delaying this, the sentencing. Now that tells you something here, folks. I'm gonna spend a little bit more time on this. It tells you something. The whole idea of Democrats bringing charges against Donald Trump was to rough him up, dirty him up, and to make him look as bad as a candidate as he could possibly look in the eyes of people. And it has worked. It has really worked. I went to a gathering a couple of days ago, and during that gathering of people I didn't even know, at one point, one of the people brought this up, and they said, yes, see, he's a felon. You can't elect a felon, right? That's exactly what they wanted to do. They got to these low information voters, and they said, if we can rough him up, the people who don't know any better are not going to vote for Donald Trump. A percentage of them, at least, will not vote for Donald Trump because he is a felon. And that's exactly what happened. And now, if they could get him sentenced, it would also add on, and in a race right now where Donald Trump is up by percentage points, 2%, 3%, 4%, if you can get people who don't really know what's going on, it really could make a huge difference. Thank you for watching the show, folks, so far. If you just turned in, I'm Sherman Ray. I'm the founder of Godstream Network, and this is Godstream News. I want to encourage you to continue to watch us. If you're watching us either on any of our social media platforms, go ahead and subscribe. Leave a note for us. Let us know that you really like what you're seeing, and we really would appreciate that, okay? This is a story. Where's this out of? I was looking for this before. The headline on this is when one Christian college closes, another takes care of its alumni needs. Houston University agreed to help two shuttered evangelical schools with files and transcripts going back decades, and ended up being more work than anyone bargained for. This was just yesterday. This is a very interesting story. Last summer, Alliance University, known as Nyack College for most of its history, was in the middle of suddenly shutting down its operations after 140 years. As a frantic 8-week closure process began, helping students finish out classes, selling the students Steinway, grand piano, playing art, that kind of stuff, Alliance sought out another institution to become the ongoing custodian of records for students and alumni. Now, you could imagine this. A school's been around 140 years. It's got records, a lot of records. And what do you do with those records? You just can't just say, see you later, because people they're going to be looking for those transcripts. And needing a permanent home where transcripts could be housed, and like we were saying, going back decades, students' financial records, athletic records, as well as licensure documentation, in counseling and nursing, teaching, social work. Alumni might need these documents at any time for employers or licensing. And I know this. My alma mater is Calvary Theological Seminary. And can you imagine what would happen? Well, you've had other colleges step up to the plate now and say, hey, guess what? We will watch your paperwork, which is great. And that's really what the body of Christ does, and that's a great thing, isn't it? I think that's a great thing. Let's turn our attention to the Jerusalem Post. Story here out of Hamas has launched rockets from Khan Yunis. IDF strikes terrorists in Gaza. So this is a story about the Israelis and still fighting in Gaza, and this is so what you're seeing right now also is seeing a shift in population. So many of the people who were the Palestinians who were in Gaza, who went south, continued south, now find themselves going back up north because the Israeli, the IDF, the forces are fighting in the very southern tip of Gaza now, and just clearing out these caches of fighters who are still down there. Let's see if I can find the story. Oh, can't find it. All right, so I lost my story, and that happens. You lose a story every once in a while, you can't find it. But we see, and just kind of an aside on the whole Israeli fight, is that Israel finds itself sandwiched in a battle. You've got Hezbollah in the north, and you've got the Hamas in the south, and they're both. So you find Israel fighting on two fronts. And here's the thing that I think most people don't understand: Israel is well capable of defending itself. There's no doubt about it. It's really, at this point, will the United States allow Israel to do what it has to do to make itself safe? And that is really the bottom line with this entire thing. So we hope that they do, and hope that they are able to continue being safe and sound. Here's a feel-good story, folks, and I think you're going to enjoy this. This is a story out of Orlando, Florida, and the studio behind the most complete graphic adaptations of the Bible of all time is now releasing the most complete graphic adaptations of the American history ever published on July 4th. You got to get this. This is really going to be very good. In an unprecedented collaboration between American history and modern storytelling, U.S. Comics is releasing the Declaration in honor of the Declaration of Independence this week as part of a groundbreaking new graphic novel series set to captivate readers nationwide. This is going to be good. I'm going to get this, and we're going to bring this on. I'm really looking forward to this. The 4th of July, the Declaration, the U.S. Constitution, the Stars and Stripes, and other titles released as part of the American Graphics novel series hitting shelves just ahead of the Independence Day. Each issue is meticulously crafted to blend historical accuracy with gripping narratives, showcasing pivotal events from the landing of the English separatists on our shores to forging a nation from the wilderness and declaring independence and the winning of key battles that guarantee independence from England. This is going to be so cool. I cannot wait to get my copy of this. These are comics, and they're graphic comics that are just, and I'm looking at some of the artwork on now. Looks fantastic. I mean, it just looks fantastic. And we're so excited that a Christian organization is doing its part to get things out and make things look great. Here's another story, and this is a Fox News story. Biden donors back Plan B, say it's Armageddon after the debate. Now, here's a story. Many of you know that just a couple of days ago, President Biden, former President Trump, squared off in mano a mano a debate for the time. If you could put this down, if you could put this in the sports vernacular, you would say it was Ali Frazier. Ali Frazier. It's the Thrilla in Manila. And when President Biden came walking out on the stage, you knew something was wrong. You knew it was wrong because he was saying hello to people that weren't even there. And then he pointed to his podium like, oh, am I supposed to stand here? And you're thinking to yourself, oh my gosh, what is going on with this guy? Throughout the debate, President Biden looked as befuddled and he looked angry at times. You could see what he was trying to do at times too. He was trying to get Donald Trump into a fight with him. He wanted to fight. So, and President Trump at one time got into a back and forth with him, but it was really over golf. It was over something stupid. It wasn't like, hey, I'm going to jump across the stage and choke you out. out or anything. It was a couple of frat boys, talking about their golf game. So, but at the end of the day, everybody would concede that President Biden looked like he shouldn't even have been there. Now, here's the thing that that got everybody else going also, is that during the debate, they had focus groups who were watching this whole thing. And the pictures that came back of these focus groups were like of people going, oh, oh, oh. And they were heartbroken because they're thinking to themselves, what happened to Biden? What happened to him? He's lost it. And most people would agree. There was a poll taken, 73% of Americans believe that President Joe Biden is too old to be reelected. They want 60%, over 60% of Democrats are saying we don't want him. There's just no way. Donors, the most important thing, our donors are now saying that they're done. They are done with him. This was an epic meltdown. So donors supporting President Biden's reelection reportedly are now backing a Plan B and are describing the situation as Armageddon following the 81-year-old's widely publicized debate. What is that Plan B? We don't know at this point. Okay, we do know that they are going to do something. Many prognosticators are saying the same thing. They do not believe President Biden is going to make it to November. They just don't believe it's going to happen. The problem you have here now is you have a lot of committed electors who have said we have pledged our votes to President Biden. And there's going to take a lot of finagling. And people have tried to explain it this way. And I'll make it as quick as I can. President Biden has a certain amount of money. He's got about $200 million in a war chest. FEC, or Federal Election Commission, regulations say he cannot just give that money to whoever. Let's say he decides to give it to Gavin Newsom or Kamala Harris or something. He cannot just give them that money. Okay, he can't do that. Okay, so whoever is going to run in his stead would have to start from scratch. Now, everything has been tailor-made for Joe Biden. So what does that mean? His ground game, signage, messaging, commercials have already been made. All this stuff has already been baked in that and made and tailor-made for Joe Biden. So whoever might come in, let's say Gavin Newsom, okay? Who I don't think it's going to be Gavin Newsom because it would be a meltdown also, and we'll discuss that in just a second. But whoever would have to come here now would actually have to start from scratch. Then we have to get to the getting on the ballot. In a lot of states, to get on the ballot in Dakota, Florida, Michigan, you've actually got to do this ahead of time. You can't just walk up and go, I'm on the ballot. Okay, you can't do that. And then you've got to find somebody with a national name. You've got to have somebody with a national appeal. All right, now let's back up a little bit more. Okay. Kamala Harris is the vice president of the United States. She was the first person out of the presidential running during the first Biden running for office. And when he first, and this was in 2020, so 2019, 2020, Kamala Harris couldn't even keep her own campaign together. But then Joe Biden says, you know what? I need a placeholder. I need somebody who checks off boxes for my my campaign. Not somebody who could be president, but somebody who checks off boxes. And what do we mean by that? Well, Democrats tend to have a woke ideology, and they don't really care too much about whether or not a person is capable of doing the job, but do they check off certain boxes? Are they female? Are they homosexual? Are they transgender? Are they, this, that, or whatever? Are they from some group? Not whether or not this person could be the next president of the United States. Kamala Harris was that person. They didn't care if she could be president of the United States. Okay, I don't know what they were thinking about, but Democrats have made their bed with this one now. So now Kamala Harris, a African American female, if they step over her, they are on shaky ground. If they step over her and do not give her the nod, they give her the blessing, right? If they don't give her the blessing to become the next person running, just an opportunity to run for the President of the United States, they might as well kiss goodbye the black vote. Yeah, they might as well kiss it goodbye, because this is historic. This is a historic time where the first black woman could run as the candidate for the Democrat Party, and it looks to us like what they're going to do is they're going to run Gavin Newsom. They're going to run Gavin Newsom or somebody else and step over Kamala Harris. And here's the problem once again. Kamala Harris is dead weight. She has not the chops. She doesn't have the intellect. She that's why she was the first person dropped in the Democrat when the Democrats were running, because nobody liked her. Nobody could think of, why would they vote for her? Oh my gosh, it would just be terrible. So, Plan B. What is Plan B for Democrat donors? That's going to be interesting to find out. This is going to be a crazy, crazy time for them, and we'll see what happens. Last story. Let's end on a high note here. Many of you are probably watching the Olympic trials. Well, in the Olympic trials, a 1,500-meter race was the female women's race was just awesome. It was just an awesome race. And the woman who I thought looked the best, she had short hair, wears almost all black, running leotards, ended up winning. Her name is Nikki Hiltz. And Nikki Hiltz, at the end of the race, like the last 200 yards, just surged ahead of the other girls, and she wins. Yay! Everybody's jumping up and down. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay. Well, according to a Fox News story, Nikki Hiltz, a biological female. She's a biological female. She's running with other women. Okay? Not everything's good so far, right? Yeah. Okay. You knew it was going to make a turn, folks. She identifies as transgender, non-binary. I know you heard the same story. I just told you the story. She was a woman running in a woman's race. She qualified for the U.S. Olympic team running on a women's team. 1,500 meters. She beat all the other women, right? She's not a guy. She's a woman. But she identifies as a transgender, non-binary. Okay, so here's the deal. Here's the problem, folks. And we've got to pray for these folks. We've got to pray for these people, because it was obvious, and it's obvious to anybody who looks, that this is a woman. Now, when I first saw this article, I thought, oh my gosh, is she a guy? Because she is kind of butch looking. She's kind of, I shouldn't say that. She has very short hair. She has very short hair, and she's very muscular, okay? Not in a guy way, but you could tell she's worked out a little bit. But she's obviously a woman. But she identifies as non-binary, transgender. So, should she have not been able to run with the women? So normally that doesn't happen anyways. Women will generally not run with guys who are transgender. They want to be. But I guess she gets a pass because she's non-binary. So she says, I'm non-binary, which means I'm a woman, but I don't want to admit it, even though I look like a woman. And I run with women, and there is a spirit of delusion that has hit the world, and we need to pray for these folks. And I pray that all these folks, as they are kind of moving through their lives and they're trying to figure this all out, that they would get it together, because it was a historic race. It was a great race. Nikki Hiltz, you did an awesome job. And we pray for you. We pray for anybody out there who's thinking that they're something they're not. See, here's the deal. You can trust in the Lord for all your needs. And if you need to feel like you belong, reach to Him, because He will show you do belong. That you are valued, that you are worthy, that you are that you count for something. You don't need to reach out to some imaginary existence for the Lord. You don't even need to get a trophy. God loves you just as you are. And so we hope that Nikki helps, and anybody else who's feeling like they're not quite there, that they'll reach out to the Lord for their to get it together. Okay. Anyways, this has been Pastor Sherman Ray, and for Godstream News, we hope that you've enjoyed this, folks. Once again, subscribe to our YouTube channels, subscribe to all of our platforms as we continue just to build this thing as God would want us to do. We hope that you've had such a wonderful day and that you are blessed and that you have a wonderful, wonderful evening. We'll talk to you soon, okay? Bye-bye.